r/AskReddit. Divorce lawyers of Reddit. What's the most outrageous reason someone filed for divorce? My dad was a divorce lawyer. He had a client who wanted to divorce her husband for 2 reasons. He did not have enough hair on his chest. He did not drive fast enough. Keep in mind this was in the 70s when chest hair was a bit more important. Yeah, it would have been embarrassing to show up late at a pool party and your man not having a decent chest bush. A luscious mane of hair from my chest pubes down to my ball throw. She was mad she didn't marry Burt Reynolds. He had an argument with the new in-laws during the wedding and moved out at around 5 AM during the first night. Knew a couple who were married for only a few hours. Bride's side of the family was being disrespectful to the groom's side at the reception. He brought us up on the way to the hotel after the reception, which caused a heated argument. Bride calls up her family who arrived to the hotel and start a fight with the groom in the lobby. Groom called his side of the family as well. Hotel lobby turned into a screaming match field and they separated there and then. It was such an extravagant wedding. What a waste. Marriage speedrun. What kind of fight causes that? The kind of fight that makes you realize what you're tying yourself to if you hang around. The guy who left could have been nuts, but some families are insane. He could have just seen true colors and saved himself a lot of heartache. Kind of in the same category, I've had a lot of younger male potential clients come in for divorce consults with their mother. Then, during the consult, the mother does 98% of the talking, and it's clear who actually wants the divorce. I'll usually escort mom to wait in the lobby while I talk to the son directly, and most of the time he's just there to appease his mother. On a related note, I once had just a mother call for a consult because she said explicitly she wanted her son to get a divorce. I politely informed her that's not how divorces worked. Edit. Because I apparently don't know how to italicize things on Reddit anymore. Colleague handled a case where money was not an issue but the kids were. Neither parent wanted them. My mom worked in abuse and neglect counseling and juvenile justice. There are a lot more cases like this than I'd care to admit. Parents divorce and neither side wants a kid. Some of them are that neither side wants a kid but will fight over another kid. If ends up totally screwing them over because they have to live with the fact that their parents didn't want them. My parents always told each other when they were fighting that if they got divorced the other had to keep me and my brothers. On a positive note, you kept your parents' marriage together. Failed exorcisms. Client had an inner ear condition that caused chronic vertigo, but symptoms could be treated with medication. Husband was an evangelical who was convinced his wife 1 had become possessed and that her vertigo and general crankiness with his methods were evidence of demonic possession. 2. The medication she was taking was enabling the devil to hide inside her. And 3. The only proper recourse was to try various methods of exorcism. He would hide her meds until she got dizzy and then try various methods of exorcism. This included sweating it out, put under blankets while incapacitated and locked in a room full of space heater, freezing it out, pretty much the reverse with AC, fans, and bags of ice, surprising it out. He would jump out and scare her like it was the hiccups, but instead of yelling boo he would recite the Lord's Prayer or Psalms. The final straw was that he tried to surprise it out of her by pushing her down the stairs when they were heading out for dinner. Note, this guy was some type of executive and they still went out to dinner after the stairs incident. She asked for the divorce at an Applebee's that night. I have often tried to picture that conversation, as she was adamant that he was a total sweetheart and never acted out of malice or anger. That one's just sad. My uncle has schizophrenia, and my grandaunt tried to convince my grandmother, his mom, to have an exorcist come instead of letting him stay on his medications. It's probably one of the reasons my grandmother stopped talking to them much. It pains me to think he could have gone through all of that if he'd been one of my grandaunt's son instead of my grandmother's. I was a legal assistant when this case came in. But this lady divorced her husband of 2 months because he got her an iPad case for her birthday instead of the expensive jewelry she wanted. I dated a girl that didn't speak to me for a day or 2 because I got her an iPad instead of jewelry. Her reassuring was, because I could just use yours. I am glad that relationship is over. My client put his wife in an assisted living facility based on a misdiagnosis, the medication of which caused the wife to be unable to care for herself. While in the facility, my client Shocker started dating another woman and methinks began using hard drugs. He used a loot of money on both of these things. She eventually got off the medication and got better. Suffice to say, she was not happy about what had transpired, the medication of which caused the wife to be unable to care for herself. Oh my god. That is ducking horrible. Edit. And so my most upvoted comment is the one that where everyone bring up their worst anecdotes. Thank you for answering and I am sorry for your situations. Losing control of your mind is horrible in itself. It being caused by a medical error is even worse. Happens more than you think. My brother was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. He was prescribed Seroquel. You don't duck around with Seroquel. When he took it without having BD, then he basically started having symptoms of BD. Messed him up for a long time. Edit 1. Acronyms. Edit 2. Wording. I did not mean to make a blanket statement about Seroquel. Different people respond to drugs differently. This is just what my brother experienced. Edit 3. Apparently the acronyms I used for Edit 1 were still wrong. Thank you, internet strangers, for correcting me. Psych has yet to discover its penicillin. It's not in the you have ghosts in your blood phase of knowledge, but it's definitely in the saw their leg off and hope for the best phase. Paralegal. A couple got divorced over a cat. Wife called cat Snowball because of white fur and only wanted the cat to eat wet food or chicken breast. Husband called cat Lily again because of white fur and believed it should only eat dry food. These two argued for a year over custody of the cat but did not give a hit about their human kids aged 15 months, 4 years, and 6 years old. My grandfather's brother was a judge who presided over state issue marriages from time to time. One couple he married returned 6 months later to confirm the wedding and end their trial marriage. When he thusly informed them that there was no such thing and that they had been married for 6 months, they subsequently broke up. That sounds nutty. But if you believed your so when they told you trial marriages were a real thing, that betrayal could very easily end a marriage. She was kidnapped in Mexico and he refused to pay ransom. Eventually her family managed to pay and she was left on the side of the road. It is not outrageous as in petty but outrageous as how absurd that is. Honey, I love you, but we agreed to save up money so we can purchase a house. Your ransom would really set us back. I don't really think I can add a ransom line item to this month's budget. Everything is already super tight. Edit. I'm curious if you have a line item for Reddit Gold, because if not it seems like reckless spending. Edit 2. Reckless. How embarrassing. Edit 3. Thank God my top comment isn't about being a cam girl anymore. My 90-year-old client, the husband, and his son retained me to initiate divorce proceedings with his 88-year-old wife. They'd been married 60 years. The wife had recently taken to beating him with his own cane because their daughter poisoned her into thinking he was hiding money from them. The battle came down to husband and son versus wife and daughter. At their first court appearance, my client showed up in an old 1950s style pinstripe suit and fedora. He was a farmer his whole life, and this was clearly the only suit he owned. He was such a meek and lovely old gentleman. I had to pass my client on to a new lawyer midway through the proceedings because I accepted a job in a different country, but I understand the divorce was eventually granted. You think it was the suit he got married in? Well, I married her in this suit and now I'm Oliver in this suit. I didn't like her anymore 2 days after being married. In sickness and in heath, till disinterest do you part. This is more sad than outrageous, but some of my colleagues specialize in elder law and more people than you think get divorced on paper in the US in order to receive Medicare benefits without having to lose their home. See for example this article. Edit. Medicare Medicaid. My douche cousin told his wife she had 3 chances to give him a son. Daughter was born first. Strike 1. Son was born second. Then they find out the boy can't eat gluten. So my cousin divorced her and has made 0 effort to see his kids. Edit. I remembered something else he did. He would take off work and instead of spending time with the babies or her he'd tell her just act like I am at work and do all your normal stuff. Then he'd watch TV all day. Douche. Wait, so just because the kid can't eat gluten he doesn't want to see him? Bro, pathetic. It's not even a big problem. Not a divorce lawyer, but I had a friend whose parents divorced for irreconcilable differences over time spent playing EverQuest. In my game design class, it was referred to as EverCrack.